Let me remind members that Camp Ashraf is home to 3,500 Iranian dissidents living in Iraq, all members of the PMOI, and they include 1,000 women. And they originally opposed the mullah's regime. They are the largest opposition group and the greatest thorn in the side of the present Iranian regime, as proved by the fact that more than 90% of the 120,000 political prisoners executed by the Iranian regime have been members of the PMOI. It is their success in harnessing widespread support that engenders the hatred directed towards them by the regime. But the truth of the matter is that the cruelty and inhumanity which has been visited upon Camp Ashraf residents as a matter of routine by the Iraqis has been done so at the behest of Iran. They have acted as their proxies. And I would argue that changing that situation, ensuring that the Iraqi government, Mr. al-Maliki, the Prime Minister, changes their attitude as they should do, would diminish Iran's position in the Middle East and weaken their role in the wider world. That's how changing our attitude to the PMOI and changing our attitude to the people who live in Ashraf can be of help in this matter. It's not just an issue about a few thousand Iranian dissidents in Camp Ashraf. It raises fundamental questions about the entire region and beyond. Al-Maliki's government's flagrant disregard for human life and universal rights and international law should raise alarm bells. When people see that the depth of cruelty and inhumanity following Western intervention, when they see that the al-Maliki government's actions present him as a Western-supported puppet of the Iranian regime, are they not entitled to ask, why did we sacrifice so much blood to achieve this objective? If we are to find an effective way to tackle the crisis of intransience and hostility from the Iranian government, it will not happen through examples of this kind. That's why I call upon the government to promise tonight to act to ensure the removal of Iraqi forces from the perimeter of Camp Ashraf, to end the siege, including the lifting of the ban for journalists, parliamentary groups, lawyers and families of the residents. There must be immediate access for residents, particularly for those who have been wounded, to medical services in public hospitals. There must be an independent inquiry by a panel of jurists into the actions perpetrated at the camp. And indeed, they should be entitled to a return of their personal belongings. Such actions would, I repeat, immediately undermine al-Maliki's role and al-Maliki's position as a proxy of the Iranians, and that would be the interests of all of us. We've heard some bold attacks by the Minister of late, and they are most welcome. But I do regret that we have not pressed the United Nations to take action with regard to Camp Ashraf. If for no other reason, in respect to those lives lost in Iraq, which we should honour and can honour by protecting the very people now under attack by the Iraqi regime. If we are to overcome the very real threat of Iran, we must stop appeasing the regime in the way we are appeasing it through Ashraf and through the PMOI.
Now, this is not a response to sanctions. We cannot appease Iran or hope for moderates to emerge from within the regime. Nuclear ambition is not a response to sanctions. It was happening already. United Nations sanctions began in 2006 in response to Iran's refusal to suspend uranium enrichment. But as far back as 2002, the National Council of Resistance of Iran revealed Iran's secret nuclear program, much of which was later admitted by the Iranian leadership on state television. Tehran has repeatedly dismissed calls to negotiate, and President Ahmadinejad now insists his nuclear program is unstoppable.
Iranian nuclear proliferation, Mr. Deputy Speaker, risks one of the most serious crises in foreign policy that the international community has faced in many years. And as Iran moves closer towards acquiring the capability to build and deliver a nuclear weapon, and as it continues its confrontational policies elsewhere in the world, this is a crisis that is, at the moment, coming steadily down the track. 3 years after its secret nuclear site at Qom first came to the attention of the world, Iran today is expanding its uranium enrichment program in defiance of the United Nations Security Council. It is enriching uranium to 20%, on a scale greater than that needed for a civil nuclear power program. And it remains in breach of its obligations under UN Security Council resolutions and is not meeting the requirements of IAEA resolutions. And a nuclear-armed Iran, I believe, would have devastating consequences for the Middle East and could shatter the non-proliferation